What is going on, guys? Hey, how you guys doing today? Figured with it being the eve of the Xbox Series X launch, we'd talk some news and, just have some fun since the world is, deteriorating all around us. So, what's going on over on D Live? What's up, Rain Pipe? Everyone joining over on. Ooh, that was squeaky. On 8-Bit Hooligans on YouTube, and then on the D Live channels and Twitch. So I figured we'd talk the Series X, the Series S, and things that are going to be happening with the consoles over the next few days. You have the Series X launch is tomorrow, and Series X/S issue is um, being known. There is a list of known issues that have been published, and it's quite interesting that these are precursor issues, well, told to people about one day before the console comes out. Now, the curious part about this is that they would have had to known about these issues at hand well, well before the system launched, and the fact that they're waiting till a day before it to talk about it. Yeah, what's going on, Rain Pipe? Thanks for hanging out. Oh man, so with these issues that are coming to light, the question begs, well, you can't pull your reserve and you can't switch it up. There's other issues being talked about with the consoles that are going to be, well, for unfortunate people who got the console day of launch, which is tomorrow, if they don't have a fix for this, then what are they going to do? There's other issues going on behind the scenes and stuff being happening with retailers and other places that are, well, having issues managing their supply, managing their pre-orders. So it'll be curious to see how all of this shakes out over the next few days. The PlayStation is set to launch on Thursday, and I haven't seen a laundry list of bugs or issues that you might run into with them yet. Maybe they're going to pull the same thing. Who knows? But me personally, I'm leaning to Sony this time. I'm not even going to bother buying the Series X. The fact that they have Game Pass on the PC pushes me in that direction. There's really no point in buying their console at this point, seeing as you can get everything the console has and play it on your PC, whereas Sony doesn't do that. So you're pretty much gonna be buying a Sony if you already have a PC because there are those games that you want to play. Microsoft's next generation consoles, the X and S, are set to launch tomorrow, November 10th. As we lead up to the launch, Microsoft has revealed a list of bugs and issues you might run into on your new consoles when you get them in your home. Perhaps the most notable is that you may experience corrupted images or no signal on your TV. You set the console to 4K at 120 frames with variable refresh rate. Now, that seems like a big one. No signal or corrupted images. Uh, you you guys as a company set up a console that was already 4K in the Xbox, the One X, and you're having issues with projecting the image from the new console. It seems to me like they're having issues that shouldn't be the case when they've already had this setup and this capability at launch. This can happen even if your TV supports this input. The issue affects TVs from LG, Samsung, Vizio. Updating the firmware on your TV might help. but you may have to settle for a lesser image mode if it doesn't. Here are potential workarounds. So they're already giving you workarounds um, in order to be able to, I don't know, play your amazing new console that you're spending $500 on, or $400 on if you get the digital only. Doesn't seem to me like that's very next generation for them. This might be a bit of a bummer if you're buying the console because of the new graphics capabilities, but for most people, it's unlikely you'll have a TV that supports this kind of video output right now. Yeah, because most TVs don't have a 120 uh, frames per second or refresh rate. Most TVs refresh rate is 60. So unless you have the next gen of TVs, you're pretty much going to be SOL. But from Microsoft also notes that HDR game captures may look too dark when recorded on the new console, but a fix is in the work. Another big feature of the Series X/S is Quick Resume, which lets multiple games be suspended in the background, resume instantly when you want to go back to them. The feature also has a issues with a select number of games, so it may not work perfectly right now. But Microsoft is working on to fix that on the platform level. There are also issues. First off, the EA Play app is not available yet, so you won't be able to use it. Your subscription will still work. However, you can download free trials or games included from the Microsoft Store. So, oh, part of me feels like this is rushed. Now, I am biased towards Sony. What's going on, Wyatt? Marine? Reefer, what up? Um, I'm biased towards Sony. I had the Xbox One and kind of found it collecting dust, so I traded it in. I do have a bias towards Sony, but gaming's gaming. I want to see people enjoy whatever side of the aisle they're on and have fun with it. And the fact that they're running into issues with an app not being ready that people pay a subscription for and then they have to download it instead of being able to play it on their cloud-based systems, that seems contradictory to what Microsoft's been pushing with this whole uh, cloud cloud-based gaming. If they can't even get an app set up, an app ready to go for the generation that they've been working on for who knows how long, or did they just slap shit in a box? I don't know. But the question begs, why are they suddenly, why is Xbox suddenly having all these issues be displayed and told to people when this is supposed to be coming out tomorrow? The fact that they don't have a massive app like the EA Play app ready to go either says Microsoft screwed something up or EA is just dropping the ball and too busy about making money on FIFA and well, Madden. These are things that should not be occurring at this point in time. Just saying PC is much better. Yeah, well, the PC apps and stuff like that are already already worked out and set up. And you would think it would be an easy transition, considering that Microsoft, they're all about these subscriptions, all about these um, cloud-based gaming and this kind of stuff, that they wouldn't run into issues at hand where it's like, oh, this app's not ready. You'll have to download the games from the store instead of being able to play them on the cloud like we told you you'd be able to. If you're into media consumption, the BBC iPlayer app is also not available yet. Though Microsoft announced last week that all media apps on the Xbox One would work on new consoles, Microsoft says it's working with partners to add support for, pardon me, for new consoles to BBC iPlayer. Additionally, the Peacock app may display occasionally pixelated frames, but otherwise it should work as intended. Man, okay, those things are relevant, but the gaming side of things are massive issues at hand when it comes to it. You should be able to take your console out of the box, plug it in, and use a built-in software app that is expected to be capable of running through the internet. Not rocket science. But the fact that EA now has an app not ready for launch and they're looking at their partnership with Microsoft and all these things they've got going on with Microsoft. Why in the hell do you not have this ready for their launch? You've known how long they're going to, uh, how long they've been working on this app and this platform for, and maybe, I don't know. Personally, I like and think that it's because they didn't give out dev kits uh, fast. As for Sony and Microsoft having issues, I haven't seen a laundry list of issues with the Sony consoles yet. I've been keeping my ear to the ground because I like to be objective, even though I am biased to Sony, as anyone can see with the what gaming streams we do and all that. The fact that Microsoft is pushing the software side of things and not really pushing the platform, you would think that these wouldn't be issues. These wouldn't be problems at hand, you know? Finally, you may see a black screen when trying to play a DVD or Blu-ray on new consoles, but this should be fixed by removing the disc, restarting the console, and inserting the disc again. Hold on. How? This is confusing to me. This is nothing new. DVD and Blu-ray technology and boot up systems for it is nothing new. They should not be running into these kind of issues with a launch console. It's not rocket science to read a Blu-ray disc. Blu-ray's been the main technology since what? 2006? Whenever a PS3 launched and took it over, Blu-ray was the main and center point. It's not like it's some new technology. It's not like it's something brand new to the consoles. It's been there this whole time, over 10 years, and they're running into these issues. I mean, let alone look at it if DVD. I DVD has been around for how long? Since the 90s, late 90s. Um, yeah. If you're running into these kind of problems, I think they rushed the box. I think they rushed it out because they wanted to be part of the new generation this year because they knew Sony was going to. They probably should have held off like Sony did with the PS3, pushed it back a year versus the Xbox 360 launch, and made sure that it was 100% set and ready to go. Something tells me there's going to be a lot more issues at hand. I did happen to see a few uh, a few videos out there of, well, of Xbox Series X crashing while running games. This was on Twitter. A person who got a early console was basically uh, after the what's called went out, the embargo stopped. They were able to put out videos, stuff like that, and it seems like their console is having crash issues. Now, do they have a lot of celebrities and people backing it up? Sure. However, if you're not ready, if your console is facing issues, you might want to hold it off. I know they should have pushed it back. I truly think that. And that's not because I'm pro Sony or anything like that. It's because of the simple fact that you shouldn't be running into these kind of issues with crashes and stuff like that when you're supposed to be putting out what is a next gen console. Now, heating issues, bugs like that when it comes to launch titles tends to happen. All consoles tend to have their issues around launch with it being new. product, stuff like that. However, however, I never had an issue with my PS4. I never had an issue with my PS3 because of the simple fact that seems like they had their shit together when the console launched. I know some people had issues, and there was I think it was an 8% failure rate of the PS3. I, however, never had any issues with the PS3. Um, on the other hand, I did have to get 3 to 4 different Xbox 360s. One got, oh, well, 2 of them got red ringed. Sent it in, it came back, red ringed again. Then basically bought a new one. That one red ringed, and then didn't send it in because I thought it was a waste of time and just bought a new one. So I ended up buying 360s. Now that system at launch had a 54% failure rate. It was one of those things where it was bad. That heat sink was terrible. And the fact that people try to play it up like PS4 had a lot of issues. I never ran into them. I never had it brick. I never had it do anything like that. My dumbass dropped, knocked it off my shelf, and cracked the disc tray. However, it's still open, still worked, and the console still played games. I ended up trading it in at refurbished level, needing repair, and basically getting a PS4 Pro. And this was because I wanted the Pro because it had new hardware and was able to run faster, etc. But the fact that I've never ran into any issues with the Sony console kind of is why I lean that way. Um, and the fact that they have games, the fact that there is tons of games on their consoles that are exclusives and be won't be on any other system anytime soon or anything like that. If you look at the if you look at the how long it takes them to even release an exclusive over to the PC side of things, doesn't seem like it's the kind of console that runs into any major issues, has a ton of games, and a lot of people will say that's not very consumer friendly because they keep exclusives. But if you're a company trying to sell hardware and trying to sell the consoles that and units that they did, you're going to keep it. Can't feel your fingers. It's getting cold here, guys. It's in the like 50s right now. Yeah, it's in the 80s. I can't feel my fingers. It's in the 80s. Um, it's in the 50s here, which is weird for us. However, the fact that they do keep their games on their consoles and make it basically justified for having the software. I mean the hardware, pardon me, is a huge benefit and a smart call in my eyes. Because if you were to put all of the Sony stuff on like a PC with a pass situation like Game Pass is, there'd be absolutely zero point to buying their console. And that's the thing that I run into with the Xbox Series X. There's 0 point to buying it when I can download that on my PC, which is capable of running up to 4K. I have a decent monitor, 300 hertz monitor. It's HD, and well, why waste money, $500 on a unit when I don't need to waste $500 on a unit? And that's the one thing that I know Microsoft and the Microsoft fanboys and stuff will say, it's because they want more people to be able to play. I understand that. And I think that's not a bad call. However, if you're in the business of making consoles, You've got to sell consoles. Otherwise, what's the point? What's the point of trying to create hardware or even creating the hardware when you could just say, okay, we're not doing a console this generation. Here's what we're doing instead. We're offering, this $800 PC rig, and all you have to do is play it on your rig. You can get Game Pass on there. So the clip I was talking about is this gentleman. He's a Twitch guy, Maximilian something. I don't know, but you can support him if you want. Check him out on Twitch. Here we go.
World running on Series X. Running quite well. Right as I say that. Wow.
This guy's laugh is terrible, but still. The irony of, hey, it's running perfectly well on Series X, and then to have it crash on him on stream. It's one of those things where it's like, eh. We do have multiple people who've run into this issue, and multiple people are having with some backwards compatibility issues where their consoles are crashing with them. And I don't know. I don't know if it was because they pushed too fast. We'll see how Sony does with their stuff, because Sony does have a laundry list, a massively long list of backwards compatible games from the PS4, and some PS2 games got announced recently that will move over. I think it's the Grand Theft Auto series. If you have any of the PS2 versions of whatever came out on PS2, Vice City or what, San Andreas, I think came out on PS2. Those are able to be played on PS5. Now, Amazon issues. This is where I was talking about the fact that a lot of these retailers are running into problems with keeping up with the Series X pre-orders and what they're allowing. Now we're going to go through this. I have a tweet from someone who ran into this issue, just to show it's not being bullshitted. Seriously, Amazon, why are you taking pre-orders for inventory you don't have and then telling me 12 hours before release so I have zero chance of shopping elsewhere? I'll read this to you guys because it's too big for the screen. We're contacting you with an update regarding your Series X order. We expect to ship your console in the coming week as we receive more inventory in November and December. At this time, we anticipate that you will receive your Series X by 12/31 or before. We're making every effort to get it to you as soon as possible and apologize for any inconvenience. You'll receive an email notification when your order is shipped. If you would no longer like to receive the product, you can cancel from your orders following this link. And then, thank you, Amazon. What's it called? This is a console that was pre-ordered on or near the date of their pre-order window. I know this because the Quartering has been saying that he pre-ordered two and he is going to give one away to Xbox fans. To his fans, essentially. If you subscribe to his I think Twitter, one of his videos, and then whatever, clicked on a link and it took you to a submission entry, so that way it could be tracked and guaranteed that it's actually given away. However, now he's not going to get it until potentially after Christmas. Amazon is warning some Xbox Series X pre-orders might not arrive until after Christmas. Online retailer online retailer apologizes for any inconvenience in last-minute order update. Amazon has sent out a wave of emails warning customers who pre-ordered the Series X that they may not receive their console before Christmas. We expect to ship your console in the coming weeks as we receive more inventory. At this time, we anticipate that you will receive it by, and this is someone else who also received this email. Extremely disappointed with Amazon pre-order. My, Amazon pre-ordered my Series X on September 22nd when first available. Received no update on shipping prior to launch tomorrow, and now I receive an email. What horrible service to sell a product that you can't fulfill by launch. Due to high demand, consoles will ship as inventory continues to arrive throughout November and December. Yeah, you just told them that. Series X and PS5 pre-orders went live in September, and initial stock of both consoles was snapped up quickly. Shortly afterwards, Sony or Amazon warned PS5 pre-orders and some Series X pre-orders they might not receive their consoles in time for launch. GameStop said earlier on Monday that it will have a very limited number of console bundles available to purchase online tonight and in stores for Tuesday's launch. And the retailer's Black Friday advert confirms it will also have limited PS5 and Xbox Series X stock on November 27th. Walmart said last week that it will have a limited amount of Series X available to buy online on November 10th. It will also be taking new PS5 online at 4 specific times on the 12th. Now, those kind of things are not a massive issue to me. I don't think that's a massive issue. However, for those who pre-ordered it, put in the time waiting in those terrible lines online, are now stuck. Are stuck in a position of expecting their console to have been here, on X day, and now they're not going to get it. I haven't received, and I pre-ordered the I pre-ordered the PS5 through Best Buy myself, and have not received a notification, any kind of information about it not showing up and about it not being available tomorrow, nothing like that. Now, I mean not tomorrow, but on Thursday. Now, who knows? I may get that email tomorrow or something. However, I haven't received it yet, and I'm looking back through at my emails to see if there's any issues or anything like that notified right now, and I haven't received anything from them about, this is going to be, not allowed or any kind of issues like that, or it's going to be late. So the fact that Amazon over accepted orders versus what their number was is going to show as a massive problem for people who were hoping to have this as gifts for their kids and other issues. You're also going to see a ton of parents go to places like like eBay and elsewhere, and you'll run into what I think we'll run into and see with this situation is a ton of people getting cheated, because there are those people who manipulate and send out the wrong stuff, intentionally lie about the item. It's just a picture of the Xbox Series X or the PS5 and other things like that. Now, do I think they're going to start hitting and getting these things out before Christmas? I don't. I don't think that either console will have the opportunity to get enough consoles into people's hands. However, if Sony ends up being the one whose pre-orders come out with the numbers and quantities as expected to people on the day as expected, then they're going to look better because of the simple fact that they did not run into these issues, and they didn't have the greatest pre-order system. A lot of the retailers jumped the gun and ran the pre-orders early versus what the other console decided to do, which is give a date, and then you have, a lot of these people sitting and waiting for September 22nd to roll around, and then they get the pre-order or don't get the pre-order because, well, a lot of bots ended up with consoles. And if you go and look at the number of units on like eBay and OfferUp and these other places for the Xbox Series X, it seems like a lot more was purchased by slingers, by people who were trying to make some money off of the fact that, there's going to be a ton of parents who didn't take the time to actually purchase it for the Christmas period or anything like that. You also saw a lot of people running into the issue of unintentionally buying a 1X because of the naming issues with the console. It was pretty much a shit show when it comes to console launch and stuff like that and the console name. However, we do have a fun story outside of the console launch. And that's Square Enix loses 62 million in the quarter it released Marvel's Avengers, compared to the quarter before, which proved positive with Final Fantasy VII Remake. Yes, the Marvel's Avengers game lost Square a ton of money. Now, am I excited about this? No, I love Square Enix's games, and I think they do tend to put out great JRPGs, even though they've kind of pivoted to more of the westernized style. However, this is a problem because they probably bet a ton of money on this game's sales. Oh, I'm like I said, I was scrolling through my emails. We've added the option to schedule an appointment to pick up your Sony PS5 pre-order. It's almost time. Appointment pickup window is 11/12, so Thursday, between 6 a.m. and 9 a.m. Here's how it works. It'll be 30 minutes. If you arrive before or after your time, you may experience longer wait. When you arrive, we'll guide you to where to pick up your order, show ID and confirmation order, and you should be all set. Well, look at that. Best Buy was able to get me my console. And it's not like I was one of the first. I did happen to get it at day one when they opened up pre-orders, but they probably didn't oversell. Interesting. Uh, the last earnings report from the company reveals that despite growth in the first half of the fiscal year, the company showed a loss of 62 million from July to September. Quarter it released Marvel's Avengers. Now, this game has its issues. This game decided to put at the helm of the game a character who has never been in a MCU movie, who is a little known character. If I said, hey, somebody who doesn't read comics, who's Miss Marvel? They'd probably be like, oh, you're talking about Captain Marvel? No, I'm talking about Camilla Khan, the wannabe, uh, what was it, Mr. Fantastic female version, right? This game was helmed as the main character is someone that no one cares about really. Now there's their comics her comics sold back in the day for a little bit and then they fell off. She is not a book mover, and if they would have if they would have had someone else at the helm, like let's say a Black Widow or another superhero that people know from the MCU and well that sells comics, they potentially could have had a better sell of the games, quite honestly. They sold, I think, 3 million or 4 million units, which is terrible. That is small for a game that is supposed to be so big. They had a lot of issues at launch. I played it for a few streams on, I think, my other channel. It might have been this channel. I don't know. And as much as I did enjoy it, it seemed repetitive. And the online multiplayer aspect had tons of bugs. That's why I never dove into it myself. During that same period, it was also reported that the overall net sales for the Japanese company were 23.7 billion, a 30-cent decrease from the previous quarter. The previous quarter featured the launch of Final Fantasy VII Remake on a single platform, PS4, while Avengers launched on multiple systems. Game industry analyst David Gibson also took to Twitter to report new details on the company's loss, including the potential development costs of Avengers. Gibson stated that Square Enix reported a 6.5 loss for HD games driven by Marvel's Avengers, and the company would not say how many sold, but volumes were 60% of plan. According to Gibson, he estimates the game cost over 100 million to make, but only sold 3 million copies or so. He also added that the total cost of the game is closer to 170 to 190, given they only expenses 70% of cost in the quarter plus marketing cost. Oof, that is much bigger than I thought. Jesus, do you need all these pop-ups? No, go away. Like, why is this? No, I don't want your newsletter. No one does. Jesus Christ. I can't even click on it. Oh my God. Fucking suck, dude. What? That's my email. Oh, I gotta choose. Hold on, let's see if it goes to him. Let's go back to that. Oh yeah, it was right here. The company recently spoke out that the dwindling player numbers for Avengers and said it's confident players will return to the game. It later released a blog post confirming the delay of next gen versions and Kate Bishop expansion with details on how the game will move forward in the future. Is this going to be another shoot? What was the game? Is from EA BioWare. You were pretty much like a superhero style character and you flew around. What is it? Oh shit! I bought it, but I don't. I bought it for me and Sicko, used, and we played like one time, and then just never played it again. What the hell was it called? It was an EA game. Someone tell me in chat. The company explained how it aims to push the game forward with focus on four key pillars: performance and stability, multiplayer and matchmaking, rewards and late game content. It stated the problems highlighted do not align the company's value of craftsmanship, and it will be adding new community driven features to reinvigorate the game. In any NME's review, the game was described as movie magic that turns to dust thanks to an uninspired grind, but praised its fantastic storyline and well realized characters. Of course, you praise that because, well, it's Camilla Khan. If you say anything negative about diversity based characters, you run into problems. Now, do I have a problem with Miss Marvel? No. But Miss Marvel is not a game seller. And when everything you push is Iron Man and Thor and the rest of the Avengers, well, why is that listed as Marvel Avengers 2? Jesus. Someone on this website needs to get their shit together. Um, and people see that it's, I don't know, not Iron Man, you're not main character as Captain America or Black Widow or the Hulk or any of the you know, real Avengers. It's Miss Marvel. You're gonna freaking get bored. You're gonna get tired of it. She's an annoying ass character, and to have her helmet, ah, I'm sorry. I could see why you didn't sell units, and without going the route of get woke, go broke, garbage, it's pretty much that. I mean, you don't realize that a character such as Miss Marvel is not very well known by the average person, and they're not going to, I don't know, sell units. So when people start seeing uh, other people playing on Twitch and YouTube and these other places, and they're like, all they see is Camilla Khan with a uh, bot running, Iron Man or the other. Now you could switch to them, but the story is driven around her. So there's points where you have to be her. So when you see that, you're like, who the hell is this character? I don't really like this character. You're not going to buy it. If word of mouth is negative, if things aren't pushed properly, you're going to sit there and see that this game isn't for you. When the multiplayer aspect has issues, when people keep running into these issues, you're not going to sell units. I mean, it's not rocket science that a character like Miss Marvel isn't going to sell units. Let's see. I'm gonna pull this up. Sorry, guys, just pulling up. All right, here we go. Let's listen to this. Marvel Collection. In print collections alone, Miss Marvel has sold 500,000 copies. 500,000 total copies as of 2018. Character has been around for I don't know how long. I think since 2012, 2011. I don't know exactly when she came back, but 500,000 copies sold in 9 collections. That's not much. If you compare it to, I don't know, one of the other superheroes in their wheelhouse, you're going to see much more sales. You're going to see let's see. Let's see. Iron Man. Let's look at Iron Man sales for 2018. I don't know what it is, but I'm going to assume this is Comicron. They do all the data. Let's see. I don't want. I just want you guys got. You have it broken down by year. What is this? You write an article about fucking. Yeah, I want to know how many he sold. Stupid. Come on. There we go. Let's look at. Uh. Oh, there we go. There's the top. Look at the top 5 books sold in North America on, what is this, 2018? Superman, Spider-Man, Batman, Fantastic Four, Amazing Spider-Man again. Now, there was a roll of books that came out for Amazing Spider-Man in 2018, and they had a huge like shift. There was some story work that happened, right? This book alone Action Comics number 1000 sold 500,000. 500,000. Hers was over 9 volumes. X-Men 176,000 for one volume. These are the kind of things that these developers and people who want to throw, I guess, specific people because they are a specific group of people and meet a certain quota. This is why a game only sells 3 million units when it has so many bugs, it has a character that no one gives a care about, and you chose to push that character as the main character of the game. I don't know. Seems to me like it was a huge reach for Square and Crystal Dynamics to actually take and put Kamala Khan as the head of the Avengers and the person who, after a tragedy, reunites the Avengers. It's not plausible. She's not that important of a character. Like, I hate to say it and I hate to be that person, but you don't take a new IP in the video game industry and put someone at the helm of it when they're a well-known external IP, right? Like Marvel, anything Marvel based. You don't take and put a character no one cares about at the helm of the Avengers, which is a well-known IP because of the MCU, because of comic books, because of cartoons, and all these other things, and put someone no one gives a shit about at the helm of it. You could have taken any other lesser known superhero and put them at the helm of it, and you probably would have been better off because maybe their character would have been more compelling. Maybe they wouldn't have been so boring. You could have taken someone who is slightly smaller out of the Avengers. Like, I don't know who they have on their team nowadays because I haven't been watching um, comics for a while besides numbers and some other stuff. But I haven't been paying attention to who are members of the Avengers. But I'm sure they have modern characters who aren't as boring. You have shit. You have a lot of people they could have ran the door with, and with them owning the rights to being able to use them, they could have had shit. They could have had Deadpool. They could have had any of the core group who ended up joining in Civil War and Civil War Two. Yet they chose Miss Marvel, the all new, all different Avengers series consisting of the Vision, Nova, Miss Marvel, Spider Man, Miles Morales, Captain America, Sam Wilson, and Thor, Jane Foster. So there's another, you know, lineup of the Avengers, the you know, specific diversity Avengers. They could have put someone like that, Scarlet Witch, way more liked character. Could have put Scarlet Witch at the head of it. You needed a female lead. There you go, Scarlet Witch. It's not it's not rocket science that you don't take a character that no one knows and isn't selling books as your main protagonist when you have such an iconic group of superheroes to work with. Like these are even, more modern groups that they have. You could have had, I mean, they probably couldn't have gotten their hands on Miles Morales because the simple fact that it was used for the new Spider-Man game that's coming out. But there's a ton of things they could have done and people they could have used. Oh, Avengers 2099. Interesting. Um, Captain America, Roberta Mendez, Black Widow, Tanya, Iron Man, a dwarf named Sonny Fisco, Hawkeye. Jesus Christ. Some of these things. Oh God. Next, the internet gas guy will be a member of the Avengers. I don't know. But for Square to think and basically say that this is how they were going to go, this is the route they were going to go, was just an all around bad choice. Um, I'm going to take 2 minutes to grab myself some water. If any of you guys who have the Discord, you're more than welcome to jump in after I get back. I'll throw on some light background music for right now. Give me 2 minutes to get a water refill because my throat's bothering me, and then we'll come back. And if you guys want to do some call-ins and talk about things or anything like that, we can do that. I'll be right back. What's up, guys? Sorry, I'm back. My headphones decided to freak out on me. Yeah, so if any of you want to jump into the Discord, I don't know if here. Let me grab this. Grab an invite link um, for anyone who wants to join. You're more than welcome to. Make sure it's to the right Discord. Let me drop that across the board. I know we have some regulars who usually end up jumping in. But yeah, so we do some call-ins on this style of show. I think will be a nice little mix. Do some conversations about what we just talked about. See what you guys think when it comes to the Series X issues that they're announcing. What do you think about Square Enix and their massive, massive losses for this quarter? What I wonder is if it will force them to, I wonder if this will force Square Enix to basically try and get Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2 out sooner because they took such a huge hit on this game. Now, they have all the assets in hand, and I would assume that Square, well, they have obviously because they have Final Fantasy 16 already being worked on for next gen. So I wonder if they'll try to push the window for Final Fantasy 7 Remake Part 2 up to as soon as possible and get it out there faster because well, it's in development and being worked on. Will it make them some money back? Which clearly it will. That game will sell. And right now it's only available on one console. I believe, when did it launch? Let me take a look. Let me see. Let's see what the launch date was. It was April 10th. They had a 1 year window on it on PS 4. So most likely when it turns around and comes out on the Xbox, I would assume One X PC, if it goes to PC, it should have a nice little turnaround financially for those for their finances because it has only launched on one system. It's technically a PS4 exclusive, uh, timed exclusive, obviously, and it made a shit ton of money. I don't know how many units it sold, but it's got to be up there. Let's take a quick look. Um, roughly as of August 7, over 5 million copies sold, shipped, and sold. So that doesn't include doesn't include digital sales. So that's just the sold units for what went out to stores and elsewise. They don't have the digital sales numbers up yet. Now that's a single system, whereas Marvel was launched on at least two systems and probably I think Marvel's Avengers game was launched on all three consoles. I mean, not consoles. Yeah, it was sold. It was on Steam as well. So it was on PC, Xbox, and PS4. It only sold 3 million units. That, to be quite honest, is a failure. And it could have been when it launched. It could be a lot of issues. It could be the bugs and a lot of things that we talked about already that held this game back. Doesn't seem like they have that much of a plan pushed forward because they were supposed to launch new story stuff, other things, and they ran into issues. So who knows what it will be in the future when it comes to that game if they'll even continue to work on it. Let me see. Oh, sorry, I was looking at Discord to see if anyone jumped in. Got Sicko's memes over there. You could check out the meme page if you're new to the Discord. But I think it's one of those things where if you're putting out an expectation and you sell it on three consoles, it better be extremely solid. That's why people who are mad that Cyberpunk's been pushed back to the 10th, um, I'm not. I'm not mad that they pushed it back to December 10th because at least they're trying to make sure the game is 100%. At least they're not going to put out a game that has a massive amount of issues with, like they did with the Marvel game. Cyberpunk seems like they're trying to make a game that's not going to be a massive issue or problems with people and problems with the game. So who knows? I don't mind games getting delayed if they are delayed for the right reasons. We do have other games that are going to be coming out over the next few days, and it'll be curious to see how they do and whether or not they sell well. Uh, how where they'll sell well because the simple fact, like you have Assassin's Creed coming out. Uh, what tomorrow? I think it's tomorrow. I think it's tomorrow. It's coming out. Yeah. So that means tonight, most likely, it is coming out for all the main consoles. So I don't know. I don't know how it's gonna do when it comes to. Oh, wait. Interesting. That's weird. There was a listing for yeah, Assassin's Creed Valhalla on PS on Xbox One is listed at $49 through Walmart. Interesting that they're already pushing sales on it when it comes out to the older generation consoles. I wonder what it lists for on the PS4 because PS5 it's $60. PS4 it's 59. That's probably because of Ubi's agreement with Microsoft or Walmart's mistakenly listed it at that price. So if you were thinking about getting Assassin's Creed Valhalla and you want to get a deal on it, looks like Walmart's the place to be. The Xbox One version, if you got an Xbox One, is on sale for $49. Hmm. Oh shit, that's a glitch too. Assassin's Creed Valhalla PS5 Standard Edition pre-order bonus, $49.94 on Walmart. Yeah, something's going on. Either that or they have a massive sale because that's interesting that they would have it marked down for the PS5 already. Yeah, so if you're looking for a game to play, it says the release date is 12/3, even though it releases tomorrow. It is in-store price for in-store purchase only. Huh. But yeah, so if you're looking for something, there are quite a few games that come out tomorrow that are on both sides and are cross-play and on all consoles. Xbox isn't launching with anything major. What's up, Cobert? Xbox isn't launching with anything exclusive. The Xbox One has no exclusives really coming out tomorrow, besides some Falcon game. I don't know what the hell it's even about. But yeah, if you guys, I posted it. I'll post it one more time for you guys. If any of you guys want to join, there's the Discord. Welcome. You're welcome
Hey,
to. What up, Wyatt?
oh, not much.
Let me turn you up. You're really quiet. Oh man. So this is Wyatt. Wyatt is addicted to what are you addicted to? Dauntless and
Dauntless and Warframe.
yeah, there we go. Dauntless and Warframe.
What's there? What else is there to do with COVID and so forth? You can't go out and go to bars or sports clubs, movie theaters, or even go and travel or do anything. So
Nah, it's so limited. At least when you're also in California, I believe, right?
yeah,
Yeah, and so with California being still really tight on this all this lockdown stuff, it's not like you can go out and you can't even go out and have a nice sit down meal. No,
Nope.
no. It's all it's all based on taking your shit and getting out, you know?
And then if you order food from Grubhub or Uber Eats and it costs you a fortune.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's not exactly reasonably priced when it comes to those things.
And well, as I said in the chat, going to movie theaters or doing anything that's expensive. Plus TV, it's garbage what's on TV nowadays with all the virtual singling, political BS. Well, you know what I mean. It's gone
Yeah.
down the hill.
Yeah, and that's one thing that like I think and we were talking about it in the earlier stream that ran of the game I've been playing, which is Trails of Cold Steel for the premiere I did for it, and we were talking about uh value, right? So if you get a game that costs you $60, right? And you get 60 hours out of the game. I was comparing it to the game I was playing, and so you get 60 to 100 hours out of the game. That game's value is $1 an hour. You can't find any other forms of entertainment really out there in the world where you get that much value per dollar.
Nope.
And that's the games that are story driven or stuff like that. Not the multiplayer games where you're playing with multiple people. Like Dauntless is a good example. It's a free to play. It's the the like Fortnite style of game where it's free to play and you buy season passes and stuff like that. Where if you spend 100, 200 hours in it, the value is just astronomical. Even if you buy a season pass, for $20 or whatever.
Yeah, the season pass on Dauntless is, I think it's like $10 or something, 10 or
Yeah.
15, and then you spend a few hours. Even if you finish through the Game Pass, because it's like only 50 levels. So by the time you finish that, you've already got your money's worth.
Yeah, and you look at games like Call of Duty, Warzone, and the battle royale style games, where let's say you pay the $20 for Call of Duty's Battle Pass, which is they have the $10 version, they have the $20 version, which gets you a 20 level jump and some additional stuff right away. If you're paying $20, that season pass is going to take you a good, I don't know, 30 hours, 40 hours to finish. And
True.
there's plenty of value to it. And that's the one thing where a lot of people won't agree with me and a lot of people are frustrated that the cost of games is going up this generation to $70 most likely. You're seeing the next generation built games that aren't cross generation games being $70. I
I'm surprised
personally
it hasn't gone up. I'm surprised it hasn't gone up much sooner, like 4 years ago.
Yeah, and that's my thoughts too. Is in 2006 was the last price increase. So or 2008, one of those. In 14 years, they haven't increased based on cost of goods, which it's software and people, right, for a video game. So there's been no market increase on it, and the cost of making games has gone up exponentially.
Well, people also don't factor in this. They also have to they have their own upkeep, their own they got to keep up their servers. They got to
Yeah.
keep you got there's so much money that goes into a game. It's astronomical, and a lot of these gamers, they don't understand it.
Well,
You know what I mean?
yeah, it's exactly that. And then you also run into the issues at hand with people who are, let's be honest, spoiled, and they're used to the value, and they've never seen it in cost increase. They've never seen a generational cost increase because they were either born after or right before the last cost increase. Because I remember when SNES games cost $49, and then you saw what, a $10 hike to 59, 10 years later on that.
Well, I remember in the '90s, mid '90s, when games were $10, 10 or $15. Then like after around 98, 99, they started going up like $2 or $3 every year. Then they kind of capped off like around like 2006. They capped off around 60 is about the most you would spend on a game. And that, like you said, they haven't gone up since. And I can understand why they want to go up from 60 to 70. To some, that's a lot of money. But what a lot of people don't understand, cost of living, they have to keep the servers updated. They have to pay the employees. They have to pay for marketing. They have to, there's a lot of, well, this, there's a lot
Yeah.
of money. Games are not cheap to
No.
make, period.
No, and well, especially with the cost of games going up for production and production value being so much higher now in comparison to what it was then. Now, is it more readily available and you can create games a lot easier? But you figure you run an engine like Unity or uh, what's the other big one? The one that Epic owns. Um,
Uh, I know, got a brain cramp. I know what you're talking about. I'm
but
trying to think.
any of those, you've got to figure out
Unreal,
licensing. Unreal, yeah, yeah. You got to
Unreal,
figure
yeah.
out the licensing costs of the item on top of the people producing and making the game and coding and everything else. The average the average person who's putting together and actually scripting and making a game is, I think their average pay is anywhere between 80 and 110,000 per year. So if a game costs, I mean, if a game takes three years to produce, right, and you have 20 to 40 employees in that studio, the that's a massive cost right there just on the people, let alone licensing, let alone anything else production wise, anything in the way of overtime and other things. The value of a game has increased exponentially because of the simple fact that it stayed the same. It stayed the same on price when you have a game that costs, 5 million to 20 million or 30 million to make. And that's a small cost versus like we were just talking about the Square Enix game, which they estimate cost 100 to 115 million to make with all of the factors taken into play.
And they're not making any revenue or profits while they're making it either. While they're creating it, they're shilling out their wages monthly while they're making it. They're not making a profit. They're not able to put it out in beta or anything like that until there's a halfway decent beta till they, you know what I mean, till they can put out in the market so people can start playing. You know what I mean? It's almost games are almost like pharmaceutical, like drugs. You know what I mean? They come out with a name brand drug. It takes 5 years to come out with that name brand drug. During that whole period of time, they're doing R&D for that uh, um, a
Product.
drug. They're
Yeah.
not making any profit for it. Then once they come out with a drug, they put, a generic can't come out for 5 to 7 years, so that drug manufacturer can uh, uh, make some profit to make up the loss of the time that they were creating the drug. Games are similar to that.
Well, and you
When they
might have your studio might have a game that's still like relevant from like 3 years ago that's still producing some value while like okay, look at a small studio like CD Projekt Red's a good one. Um, they're a small studio. Well, they were a small studio, and then they made the Witcher series. But look what they've made between The Witcher 3 and Cyberpunk. Nothing besides expansions. So they've been working on it for 7 years or so, and that game's been out for, you know, 5 years. So the value of what they're making, it's all profit loss. It's exactly what you were talking about, and it's not profit loss in actual money, but in time. So there's still value to the time that's being spent. And Covered Cat makes a point with there's also tons of testers you need on top of that. So, okay, the average tester out here in California, any of the studios, and I'm right in a hub where there's a lot of studios around. There's the all the Irvine studios, so Blizzard and anything in the Activision family. Then right up the road, there's the Call of Duty Activision side of stuff. There's Santa Monica, which is a PS4 uh, Sony exclusive studio, and then you have Naughty Dog right out here as well. So you have all these studios, and I've seen tester roles on there, and they're averaging about $17 an hour for a tester out here. Just think of the amount of time if it's a full-time role as a tester, even if it's part-time, so you can double the amount of people or triple the amount of people. That value on that is extremely high. And if you don't have hordes of testers, you end up with WWE 2K20. Yeah, no shit, right? You end up with games like I don't know, like freaking the Marvel game where it was full of bugs.
That game had a lot of bugs. From I didn't see a lot of profession. Like I don't know if Summit 1G played it or any of the. I don't see them. I didn't see them playing it that long.
No, and I didn't even play it that long. I played, a couple of nights, and I mean, I didn't have anyone on my list who was playing it with to do the co-op stuff with, and so I kind of got burnt. Um, unless the story really grabs me, like the JRPG style stuff tends to, I get burnt out on it pretty damn fast. I just looked up cost of games at US dollars when the games came out. Uh, 1991 Super Nintendo games were 49 or that's when it launched, 49 to $59. NES games were 29 to 49, N64 49, PS2 49,
That's
and
about right.
then you have the fact that if you take those and throw inflation into the mix, as of 2010, you're looking at $59 to $89, 80 to 96, 69, 63. So without without increasing the price or pushing up the price in the last 14 years, they have not equated for inflation. They have not equated for increase in wages, cost of living, none of these things. So the fact that we've had 14 years of standard pricing and we'll probably have a good, 10, 15 more years at $70. Now, do the games nowadays have more ways of making money? Yes, yes, they do. So I could see why games like Warzone and Fortnite and stuff like that are free. They have a simple model where, okay, we're going to give you the game for free, but we're going to have battle passes. And every 4 months, it's $10 or $20. There's also going to be cosmetics in the store, but we're not going to do the random loot box. Okay, cool. Those whales who want to have the skins and, play dress up with their characters, so be it, you know?
Yeah, I agree to that. The games that I don't like is the one that you pay that they make you pay and then you got to pay a game pass. I think it's either or. If they're going to charge you a game pass, then you should get the game for free. If they're going to charge you for the game, then you shouldn't have to pay for a game pass.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with that. And that's why I think okay, so Activision's made a shit ton of money on their microtransactions and stuff like that. So I can understand why they made Warzone free. That's understandable. Now, they didn't make Blackout free. Blackout, as far as I know, never went free, which was their first try at a battle royale, and it was on Black Ops 4. That game's season passes were free. You could buy you could tier up and level up faster, get through the season pass faster instead of having to spend time in game if you wanted. But that's an option. It wasn't like you had to pay for the actual season passes. Covered Cat Persona 5 was wonderful. I was working at the time. It took me months to complete. Yeah, and that's the kind of games like I've been enjoying is and those of you who keep an eye on this channel and look at when we're doing game streams, I've been playing the JRPG stuff because they're fun solo player games where I can get a lot out of them and a lot of content out of them. Like I think I'm at, granted, I've probably let my system sit on, a few hours at a time without, turning it off, but I'm at like 70 hours logged, 75 hours logged on the game that I'm playing right now.
That's not bad.
No, and even if I cut out 10 hours, I'm at 65 hours. I'm in chapter 2 of the game. I'm going to break 100 hours on that game. And the amount of content, the amount of stuff I've been able to pull out of it is great. It's one of those games. Like if I was doing 8-hour streams a day, like the Twitch people, instead of, maybe 2 hours, or even if you count like when I do the premieres on YouTube and stuff, um, the 3 hours, 4 hours of gaming, it's one of those things where it's really, really high end and you get the massive amount of value out of it.
Well, it's like Warframe with me. It has a storyline. You can grind, you can do various different types of things. I like games that have various different characters to it. It's not really monotonous. Well, Dauntless to a certain degree is um, uh, competitive, not repetitive. You
Yeah,
know what I mean? You're doing the same thing over and over. Warframe to a certain degree, you're not. You have different characters, different maps, and so forth. That's why I like Warframe. I play, and when I'm still playing The Witcher 3. I kind of took a break because
yeah,
I was playing it for I have over about 150 hours of play time, so I decided to take a break from it. But I like The Witcher. The Witcher 3 is another cool game because well, you've played it, you know what I'm talking about.
yeah.
The story. I like playing those games because it has a storyline. It makes you think. And it's also hell of a lot better than TV and other forms of entertainment in the environment that we're in right now.
Yeah, yeah, and the value just the like that's where my whole thought process comes in with the value of it is and we were talking about this earlier is if I spend $30 in food and a movie ticket, right? For myself, by myself. If I spend about $30 and it's a 2-hour movie, I just spent $15 per hour of entertainment. And maybe it's the marketing person in me, maybe it's the business looking at it from a business perspective and valuing the value on the dollar that I have and whether I'm willing to spend that. Now there are certain movies I'll spend that on, like big movies like, the Avengers. I saw them all in theaters and stuff like that. But there's other movies where I'm like, I'll just wait until it comes out on once it hits the internet, and I'll stream it, to my TV from my phone, and watch it that way. Because one, I don't see wasting $10 to go see it. There's so many other things that I could do with that $10. There, if and well, let alone the fact that the movie industry is collapsing now, and we're running
Well,
into issues.
Hollywood, and I think, in my opinion, I think Hollywood and the movie industry is collapsing massively.
Well, I
I
think
think
there's still viability for like TV shows and like stream streaming service movies because they can, like I mean Disney didn't do well with the Mulan thing, but like Bill and Ted, the most recent one came out and it was $20 to rent. Now I think that's reasonable. You get two people, three people at your house. Even if you have kids, let's say you have kids, right? You have a husband, wife, and two kids. That would be about $30 to $40, depending on the age of the kids. And then you can watch a movie that was $20, so it's $5 a person, and you can make snacks and do all that shit in your own home where it's a lot cheaper. The value's there. Now, does everyone have movie theater quality sound and all that? No. But why waste why waste that on a family of 4 when it costs so much? Now, is going to the movies a nice little escape from reality and getting out of the house and enjoying, let's say you're not super well off, but you don't have AC because of where you live and it's a super hot day, and movie theater is a fucking great escape. And that's what a lot of people who went why movie theaters became so prevalent in the first place was because of the fact that you had families who didn't have the luxury of indoor AC and needed to escape the heat.
Yeah.
And that's why they became so prevalent. Now, do I see the collapse of the movie theater industry? Yes. I mean, you have AMC, Regal, all these other companies just going out of business. Regal, I think, is 100% shut down right now because the operating costs outweigh what's coming into theaters. If you have nothing to show, I mean, they could, what they could do is really, would be really smart is make it because everyone's so worried about, all the stuff going on in the world. And, I don't want to jinx this channel with that stuff, but everything going on in the world, right? So you may limit the capacity to, let's say, 24%, I mean, 25% or 50%, right? In states that allow it. And then you have what's it called? The old school movies, the $5 movies and stuff like that, just to maintain and 1 or 2 employees, and have people who can work. You may not have blockbusters coming to theaters, and you have these people pushing it back. I don't understand why, with how many states were open when Mulan came out, that they didn't put it into theaters as well. But I for a long time have thought that if you go to like a resort city, like Anaheim for Disneyland or Orlando for Disney World, when you get on into your hotel room and you turn on the TV, they generally have movies there that you can watch that are still in theaters because they don't want you to leave their hotel or their resort to go see a movie with the family. They would rather you catch the movie in your room when you're done at the park.
True. What
And
what what I what I don't well,
no, go
what I
ahead,
don't
go
under,
go.
what I don't understand is if airlines could open, if there's airline flights and so forth, why can't movie theaters be open?
That
Because
that
a movie theaters, you're enclosed, you're watching a movie. It's the same. Well, it's not the same situation or environment, but kind of same uh, environment in a way. So if airlines are able to stay open, why can't movie theaters open? They could, have you could see every other seat and people would have to wear a mask, but you can have common sense to it also. I don't understand why California and all these states have to stay, I have a compromised immune system. I told you about my
yeah.
situation. So, coming from my point of view, I don't understand why they can't fully open a lot of these businesses, these entertainment places, as long as they have a common sense approach to it and be smart about it. I don't understand. It's stupid they're staying closed.
Well, and it also like your Maureen brings up that New York and Connecticut Regal is an opening in those states because they want to open at 100%. And I understand the thought process of, being common sense and even comparing it to like an airline, right? The one thing the airline has is HEPA filters and all that stuff. So if, someone hacks into the air and it doesn't go anywhere, the air gets recycled, right? So that's understandable and it gets filtered out and
Yeah.
all that jazz.
Yeah,
But
but on airlines, certain airplanes, that air is still the same recycled air. So you're still, even though that's filtering out, you're still breathing the same air,
yeah,
even if it's
true.
if even if you're even if they're filtering it, it's still going right back in you. It's
Yeah,
not 100%. So a movie theater, that's why I'm saying it. A movie theater, an airline, being on an airplane is
very
basically
similar.
the same thing. Same thing. So you could have all the filters you want. They're not. You'd have to have bio hazard type filters. In an airplane or a movie theater
Yeah,
to
of course.
really protect yourself. So,
But then
y-
again,
you know,
it's to the individual, right? And so if you're willing to kill a whole industry, the theater industry, because you could reduce capacity, and let's say Regal doesn't want to open it anything less, well, because they don't have any movies to show. And when's the last time you saw a blockbuster movie come to the theaters? They pushed back. They refused to put out any of the Marvel movies, the Black Widow movie that was supposed to come out. They pushed back Wonder Woman 1984. So you don't have the big budget popcorn flicks coming out. And if you have no reason to open at even limited capacity and you're not going to make the money back because no everyone's been sold whatever situation and they're fearful or whatever the case may be, then you're limiting the business and it's going to cost them more in electricity and everything else to run it. Now, if you let's say go down, let's say you're a 10 or 20 screen movie theater and you bring it down to 10 screens and you're not just running the movies to even empty rooms, even if no one shows up, then you don't show the flick. Then you might be able to do that, but you also have to take into consideration all the costs, building, and everything else. And I foresee, I don't see it. It's not. This has not affected the video game industry at all. Now, maybe it's affected some production of the new consoles and stuff like that, but it hasn't affected sales because people are at home more. It hasn't affected anything like that. And you would think that these Hollywood studios would be smart enough to say, okay, well, we're making $0 on this right now. So why don't we put it out? Are these studios and these companies going to take massive, massive losses in order to be able to, let me see, hold on one second. Jump in the, if you want, jump in the waiting room, cat. Uh, if you want, if if you want to make money, are you going to take massive and extreme losses over and over again because you want to hold off until maybe movie theaters open?
no.
Yeah, exactly. I don't understand the thought process in waiting. And like you have like look, Top Gun, the sequel is supposed to come out and all these things. And I can understand why Disney said, okay, $30 because they averaged it out probably to a family of four. 10 per parent's ticket, and then $5 per kid's ticket, which is definitely on the low spectrum of what they would make at the theater. But the point being is if if they want people to at least give them some sort of money, you take the streaming route and you put it out on as many platforms as possible and you put it out at, I don't know, the Bill and Ted sequel, was it Bill and Ted 3? Um, let's see what the let's see what their box
That's
office was.
that that's one movie I haven't seen yet.
The video on demand grosses for Bill and Ted was 32 million. Now, that's 32 more million than they would have made if they would have held off on it.
True,
The
it's better. I think it's better to make a certain percentage of money than no money.
Well, okay, so the budget was 25 million for that movie, and the box office is, I think, hold on, let me see. I think the box office is actual released in studios, right? That was in studio. I mean, in studios, in movie theaters. It made 6 million, right? So 6 million plus 32 million, they made 38 million. Now, does that probably cover the expectations of the studios for the cost with marketing and all that jazz?
No,
No, probably not. But something's better than nothing.
nothing. Yep.
They
And if
made more
I
than the cost of the production cost.
I think it's always better to take a slight loss than a heavy, 100% loss.
Yeah,
Y-
so
y- 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 I think all these liberal states, and so all these liberal states, s- I get so frustrated with Newsom, Gavin Newsom.
yeah,
You and I have the same frustrations with him.
yeah.
I don't understand why these liberal states just can't have a common sense approach to COVID and so forth. You could still open, still work, still have a good time as long as you're having a common sense approach. Be smart, wash your hands. People could still coexist and live among each other, and still have some kind of a quality life, even though it's COVID and so forth. I don't see why liberals don't see it.
Yeah, I don't know. Whatever. It is what it is, and
And
it's
and it, and it, and it's affects the gaming. It affects movies. It's affecting every industry. It's crazy.
yeah, and it's no, setting aside politics and all that. Like it's we're at that point where if you do it right, you should be able to open your places of business, sit down and have a meal, stuff like that. Um, so it looks like it's even made more than the 32 million estimate because they are actually considering and counting the numbers from they're doing sales as well. So they have a why the hell did you break? They have a what's it called? Where you can buy the movie with the other two movies on like uh Apple TV and Apple Movie and iTunes and stuff like that. So even that has increased their sales. Oh, you're more than welcome. That's the reason I was dropping the link cupboard. I was saying we're gonna do call-ins and stuff for the last hour of the show and talk with people. So anyone who's wanting to is more than willing to jump in the call-in waiting room. Uh, but no, if a movie costs 25 million to make, and with video on demand and pre-sales of it with its original two movies for $30, you're making out extremely well. You
You know,
know,
you know, true. Another industry that they could bring back is drive-in movie theaters.
I was talking about that with Sicko about that, and I was also talking to my aunt and uncle up north about that. And it a lot of places don't have the land anymore. And like when I was growing up, we had a drive-in, and I loved going to the drive-in because they would do a double feature, and you'd come right at dusk essentially, and they basically start whatever movie is, and the main movie is usually at the end of the two, and you pay by the car, not by the people. You always paid by the car, so it was like $20 a car. So the average car fits four people, and four people go. That's $5 a person. And this is in the early 2000s when that was
Well,
still open.
I remember in the late 70s because I
Oh
remember
God, you're
my
showing your
parent
age.
my I'm 50 years old, so I remember in the late 70s when we were driving our parents crazy. My parents got a divorce when I was 5, so my mom and stepdad used to cram us in the car and say, "Hey, we're going to go movie theater. We're going to go to a drive-in movie theater."
Yeah,
they wouldn't dare take us to a actual movie theater. So they take us to a drive-in movie theater. Say, hey, here, buy some popcorn, shove it. Drive-in movie theaters are pretty cool back then. You know what I mean? You know, you can bring a friend, your date, or whatever. So it was kind of cool back then. I don't understand what they could bring. You know, the movie industry, they could. It wouldn't cost that much to run a drive-in movie theater, and a lot of these theaters that are possibly closing, they could probably convert some of the money or whatever, open up some drive-in movie theaters and start making some money off movies again.
Well, and
And
places doing like movies in the park and stuff, like open air movies and stuff during the summer. So even in nicer climates like California and elsewhere, you could do something like that. And like, I mean, if they're really worried about people being in close contact with each other, they could do stuff like that, and basically set up speakers like you would at a wedding or other event that the DJ would set up, and they basically could have a screen and a really nice projector and project whatever movie. Especially since everything in the movie industry you can get on digital now, and you don't have to have reels. So you pay the rights for a new movie or whatever as the place, and you do it outdoors, and you could do the car side stuff because when we were growing up, they got rid of the old movie drive-in movie boxes where you hooked it to the side of your car and played the sound in. They got rid of those because the drive-in theater had a local signal on on one of the FM bands that wasn't used in the area, and you just change the FM channel and run it through your car sound system.
yeah, I remember that. They could also go to for speakers. They could use Bluetooth. They could use Wi-Fi, and
Yeah.
you could because if it's if well, you can't go to the theater if a movie. Well, you can go to a movie if it's raining, depending upon how they set up uh the well, they could have like an overhang on each stall, so if it does rain, they can still play a movie. Oh no, they can't play a movie while it rains.
Well,
But you know what I'm
they would
saying?
have it would be interesting because the projection and how the rain would affect the projection.
Yeah, I don't know if they could if you can have do a movie while it rains, but in between when it doesn't rain, they can still have still have a movie, and they still make a lot of money.
Well, yeah, and it's just make some money at least on these products that they're just sitting on. That's the issue I have, is that they're sitting on products, right? They're sitting on things that have cost them. Like let's look for example, like Black Widow. I don't know what the box office cost was. Um, Let me grab the movie price. So they're sitting on this until I don't know if theaters open back up. I don't know what they're waiting on. The budget is 150 to 200 million on this movie, and they're sitting on it. That's
That's
that's a massive amount of money that they've just put out. And it was originally supposed to come out this year, I believe, and it was. I mean, let's see where. I'm trying to see when it was supposed to release. The original release window was May 1st, 2020. So so they've been sitting on this movie for shit since May 1st. That's what, 7 months?
they're
No,
losing
no, no, no.
money.
That's 6 months. But still,
Yeah.
yeah. So the cost of the movie is going up because they're not making anything on it, and they have all these things. And then you have, let's say, people who are back end paid, like let's say one of the celebrities, like Scarlett Johansson, if she's paid based on the cut of the movie what the movie makes, she made $0 or a very small amount of money on that movie on the front end, and hasn't been paid because they haven't put it out. And to hold off, I understand that they're worried if they put something that cost them 150 million to 200 million dollars to make with what looks like the marketing. I think that's the estimate with the marketing and stuff. Uh, is the fact that they're just sitting on this. Disney is sitting on that. Warner Brothers is sitting on the Wonder Woman 1984, and it's what's going to happen if all these theaters just stop existing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, a good point. They're not going to have theaters to show them in.
Well, yeah, and that's what they're waiting for is, oh, we hope the movie theaters open up. We want to put it out in theaters, and we want to make sure people can enjoy it the way it's supposed to be enjoyed. Well, no, it's because you guys want to make money, which I respect and understand. It's a $200 million movie. You want to make your money back on it at least. But
Well,
if
to be honest, I don't think theaters are going to be the same even after
all this
COVID.
ends, yeah,
Yeah, I don't think anything is going to be basically the same after COVID.
yeah, I don't think. Well, I don't think that's the case, but in a lot of regards, things are going to be shifted. But it's just you're also sitting hope, on a
Well,
hope that it comes back around, on a hope that it. I don't know that they can turn it around and make back money on it. Like if you look at like okay, $200 million. $200 million was the budget for the Mulan movie. Let's see what the
well, you were talking about things are going to be shifted. I think if they keep on waiting, theaters may not open. You're going to have other people that are going to take advantage of it. They're going to come up with better ideas, better creation, for movies and so forth, and they're going to take it. You know what I mean?
oh
Either stream it, or a different alternative. I don't know what alternative it is, but there could be other alternative that would be better than movie theaters.
yeah, well, I don't know what alternative that be because they have to make up that kind of money, and the question is, are they going to put out that kind of money, right? Are they going to be able to charge what they're going to need to in a household where they can watch it? So like the Mulan was a good example. Was it made 66 mil worldwide in theaters, and then its video on demand sales were, let's see, I think its video on demand were like 200 and something. Even though the movie was freaking terrible, because they took out all the best aspects of what the story was. So 261 million they estimated based on a report is what it made in video on demand. So did it necessarily break all of what it had to pay and everything else? No. Did 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 it do as well as they probably would have hoped? No, because well, it had terrible release launch in China, and people didn't really go see it, even though the movie was aimed at the Chinese market, and it did bad there. So 261 plus 60, so 320 million on a $200 million budget for the front end, and that doesn't count marketing. So let's say 100 million marketing. They still made 61 million on it. That's not what Disney would have liked, but still.
True. Another thing about theaters is what I think may happen is people may say, well, we've been without theaters for so long. Why do we really need to go to a theater to watch a movie when I can just watch it at home? Because they'll kind of know the price. Like you were talking about how expensive it is to go to a theater versus staying at home. It's
Yeah.
a lot cheaper to just stay at home, watch a movie. The You may not experience the IMAX or the 3D, that
Yeah.
type of, or the stereo, but you can still watch it at home for a heck of a lot less expensive, and be able to show it to a lot more viewers than you can in a movie theater.
Yeah, and that's so I mean, even if you take the Mulan movie example where they charge the cost of the Disney Plus service, so $10 for that month plus the cost of the video on demand, which is $30. So even if you wager in the fact that you didn't watch anything else on Disney Plus, so they made $40 off you. But if you have 5 people or 6 people in the household, or even just have, hey guys, we're gonna barbecue and we're gonna, have a couple of friends over with their kids, and all the kids can watch, Mulan together, plus the adults that are in the room. You right there, you're $5, $5 a head, maybe less. That's not that's not the value that they would get per head, and so they're not going to make back that money that they expected. Because why would you want to rent it at your house if you saw it with friends at their house or whatever the case may be, so of course the value is going to go down. But my point is with movie theaters closing, and even if they, let's say Regal doesn't collapse or AMC doesn't collapse, and they try to figure out a new way to bring the movie theater market back into play, is it going to be viable? I don't think so, and I don't think that the industry is gonna stick around. There's not a point for the industry to stick around when, like you've said, it's way cheaper to watch a movie in the comfort of your home.
Well, the movie, well, they're biting themselves in their own ass in some ways. You
What is it?
know, well, I'm gonna say in some states that are open, like some states that are open, some of these movie theaters could open, and they could maybe not show like new movie theaters, but a thing that you were talking about where they could show, play old movies
Yeah.
that they have, old movies that they own and have, that they could still play, that people may be interested. You know the
Well,
like old
movies that are
old
longer than
Avengers,
movies
like
that are
long.
older than 2 weeks old, 2 to 4 weeks old, because the first 2 weeks movie theater makes $0 on movies, and
Yeah,
then
like 90s hits, 80s hits,
yeah,
early 2000 hits, bring out some of those movies, because a lot of people probably wouldn't mind going back and seeing some of those in a theater.
yeah, and you get the escapism factor, and the big point of those is they already own the license to show it, right? So they don't.
You don't have to pay for it.
Well, they buy the license to show it in the theater, right? If it's
True.
let's say a $25,000 license or whatever, then they can show it as much as they'd like. And where are they making their money? They're making it on the cost of the movie at that point, because they don't have to give it to the studios anymore. They've paid their licensing fee. They show the movie and charge, $2 for kids, $5 for adults or something, right? And then the concessions, because that's where movie theaters make their money in the first 2 weeks of a movie being in their theater, is at concessions anyways.
True. I know when I go to movie theater, I always wear a big, bulky jacket and bring my own food. I stuff my pockets.
But you wear a big bulky trench coat. Do you get the looks?
Uh,
No, don't even. I'm
no,
just
I don't.
playing.
No, I wear like a big bulky, like a baggy like a wind,
Oh
like
yeah,
windbreakers or something, and then
yeah.
I stuff the inner
Pockets.
pockets with
Yeah,
candy and so forth, so I don't have to pay for candy when I go to the theater. Just the price of the movie.
yeah. I mean, I most often what I buy at the movie theater is the popcorn. I'll buy popcorn and a lot of theaters around here have started letting you bring in, like, if you have like a Starbucks or some sort of cup in your hand, they don't trip. Um, so I'll bring in whatever drink I want, and then
They
uh,
do if it's candy or other
yeah,
things.
yeah. So I hide the candies in the pocket, you know. Freaking hit the dollar store, hit Rite Aid, and get the two for candies and stuff like that, and go in. But I mean, granted, there are people who just buy at the theater because it's a lot more convenient and easier than having to make a stop and all that shit. So I get that, and that's how they're making their money. But if you're not selling seats right now and all this, you're running into. I mean, this isn't only affecting like the production studios and those companies. It's actually affecting, minimum wage and mid-wage employees, like managers, people who've been, managing businesses and they're making, 70,000, 80,000 a year managing a movie theater as the general manager. So there's that money's out the window. And you look at AMC and Regal, and if you did a hard count of locations in New York, California, clearly Connecticut, just think about the number of employees that each theater will have probably about 20 to 40 employees, including the whole management team and the standard employees. That's 20 to 40 people per location times how many ever are in California, New York, Connecticut alone. I'm not counting any other states that still have super lockdowns that are affecting the movie theater, but those New York and California alone are two big ass states. And we probably have a good 200, 300 theaters times 40 employees. That's fucking insanity. The number of people who are getting affected by the fact that the movie theaters aren't able to even open at any kind of capacities right now.
It's crazy.
That's why I'll stick to paying my $60 for a video game. I'll enjoy 100 plus hours, and then you know catch the
Go on
movie
to the
on
next.
on the pirate ship. You know.
Yeah,
Well, shit. I think it's a good spot to call it. I've got to get
cool,
some food in me, and I'll be live again. I'm gonna game some later. But I was like, I'm bored. I'll do a podcast style stream.
cool.
Thanks for joining me, Wyatt.
Not a problem.
Gotta get some more people who enjoy talking, especially about non politics. So
Oh, I hate talking about politics. I'm
yeah.
sick of politics.
Well, I'm gonna jump out of the call. Thanks for joining,
Oh,
brother.
cool. You have a good evening, AD, and everybody in the chat.
I'll see you probably later tonight, buddy.
Later.
Alrighty, guys. Thanks for hanging out. If you're new to the channel, I'll be doing more streams like this throughout the week and stuff like that. As more stuff comes out with the consoles and everything like that. Be sure to throw a like on your way out. Subscribe if you're new, and I will see you guys later on tonight when I do the Trails of Cold Steel gaming stream. Peace.